Most people think that the only personality trait that matters for speaking English is being an introvert or an extrovert. But here's the truth. There are actually 5 big personality traits that can completely change your speaking journey in real life. And if you don't know these personality traits about yourself, you might feel stuck in your journey without knowing why. In this video, I'll share 3 of these traits with you and how they impact the way you learn and speak English. If you want the full explanation of all the 5 traits and how they connect to your speaking journey, I've created a self-assessment you can take. The link is in the description. When we talk about speaking English, most people immediately think of grammar, vocabulary, and practice time, which is the technical side. But here's the thing: how you practice, what you need to practice, and how you show up in conversations all depend on your personality too. For example, an introvert may prefer preparing before speaking. An extrovert may jump right into a conversation even if they make mistakes. We can't say which one is better. They just require different strategies and practices. And being introverted or extroverted is only one of these traits. Our personality can also shape how organized we are, or how we handle stress, and how open we are to new things. All of these influence how fast and confidently we can speak English in real life. Now, before we dive into the 3 traits, it's important to understand something. These traits exist on a spectrum. For example, nobody is 100% introvert or 100% extrovert. Most people fall somewhere in the middle and behave differently depending on the situation. That's also true for me. For example, if I'm in a deep conversation with close friends, I act more like an extrovert. And if I'm in a boring small talk situation, I act more introverted. The second thing we need to understand about these traits is that too extreme on either side is not good, because it stops our growth. For example, someone who is only 10% extrovert never learns an important skill of, for example, presenting themselves effectively. On the other hand, someone who is 90% extrovert may talk non-stop and not develop the important skill of active listening to understand others and form deep connections. The key here is to first know where you stand in this spectrum, then balance it with learning the essential skills for speaking in real life. With that in mind, let's look at the 3 personality traits that directly impact your speaking journey. This is about how much you enjoy trying new things. If you're high in openness, you enjoy experimenting. You don't mind sounding funny while practicing. You might try creative methods like journaling or role-playing. If you're low in openness, you prefer clear structure, you don't want crazy experiments, and you want a step-by-step plan to follow. Both are fine, but balance matters. If you're very low in openness, you need to develop your curiosity and creativity skills, because in real conversations, you need your creativity to talk about fresh ideas and become impactful. On the other hand, if you're high in openness, you may struggle with focus or discipline. In that case, you need to work on your planning skills and taking consistent action. This is about how much you enjoy being around people and expressing yourself. If you're high in extroversion, you probably love having conversations, even if you make mistakes. You gain energy from interaction with others, so speaking practice feels natural. If you're lower in extroversion, which is being more introverted, you may prefer preparing alone or taking more time to warm up before talking in front of others. Again, being both introvert and extrovert is okay. The key is finding the right balance. For example, if you're very introverted, you need to push yourself to practice with real people, even if it feels uncomfortable. That's how you build your confidence. If you're too extroverted, you may rely too much on talking without caring whether you're speaking correctly or not, or listening to others. In that case, you need to balance this too. For example, you need to slow down, listen, and learn from your mistakes. Neuroticism is all about how calm or anxious you feel in different situations, especially when you speak in real life. If you're high in neuroticism, you may get nervous easily. Maybe you know the words, but in a meeting or talking to a stranger, your mind goes blank. If you're lower in neuroticism, you stay calm under pressure and mistakes don't bother you at all. So conversations flow more easily. Both sides have strengths and weaknesses, and we need to balance our approach. For example, if you're very high in neuroticism, you need to actively practice the skill of managing your thoughts and emotions. So that means when you're practicing your speaking skills, you need to first start with safe environments before going to high pressure ones. If you're very low in neuroticism, you may skip preparation because you feel too confident. In that case, you need to balance your calmness with developing the discipline muscle. Confidence without preparation will make you impactful. So your personality affects not only how you learn English, but also how you use it. Without this awareness, you might keep blaming grammar or vocabulary when the real challenge is something else: your habits, your mindset, or your personality traits. Once you know your strengths and weaknesses, you can stop copying random internet methods and finally create a plan that works for you. In this video, I only shared 3 of the big 5 personality traits because I wanted to keep the video short and to the point. There are 2 more that are as important for your speaking journey. You can discover your full personality profile by taking the self-assessment I created. Once you fill it out, you can then download a file that helps you with your personalized plan. You'll understand your strength, your weaknesses, and the skills you need to work on, and finally how to adapt your speaking practice to your personality. You can find the link in the description. Now, let me know in the comments, what's one interesting thing you learned about yourself today? I'd love to read your comments. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.